From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A good Thursday morning. It's 5:30. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Miller is here to get us all caught up on the details about our weather, but it sounds like there's another series of weather events that ripped through part of the U.S. We'll get those details in just a minute, but let's get details about us for now.
Well, you know, we had snow yesterday. We had over 4 inches at the airport. We'll get a break today, and then we have a chance to wake up to more snow tomorrow morning as well. Big story is we got this really fast clipper system moving in, and it's cold out there now, but we're not done with the really cold air that's going to be coming in. As we take a quick look at the temperatures out there right now across Billings, we're sitting at 7 at the airport. It feels like -9, winds out of the southwest at about 13 miles an hour. Quickly, some temperatures across the area. Huntley at 10, 1 in Hardin. Got Ingomar sitting at 2, Forsyth at 3. Livingston, though, warmer at 22. We got 21 currently in Gardner. Clark sitting at about 20. Highs today, 20s and 30. Some areas may not get out of the teens, especially off to our northeast. But, boy, we really do have a cold blast coming in. We'll tell you about that when the main forecast is coming up. My apologies. This was actually yesterday's random number, but we didn't have a chance to do it because we were so busy with the snow reports out there. So let's do it today. The number is 6, has something to do with the Eiffel Tower and summer. Got a lot of great guesses in. Get yours in now on my Facebook page or shoot me an email. We will give you that answer before 6. Victoria.
Our top story this morning, a weather system swept across the middle of the country yesterday, bringing tornadoes and destructive wind gusts. Meanwhile, Kentucky is facing a long road ahead in its cleanup from last week's tornadoes. President Biden visited some of the hardest hit areas. CBS's Courtney Keeley has the latest.
A powerful weather system ripped across much of the Great Plains and Midwest yesterday. More than a dozen tornadoes were reported in several states, with some areas seeing their first ever December twisters.
Power went out, so we had to just run downstairs. It was really fast.
These Iowa barns were torn to shreds.
Oh, there it goes.
And a wall of this grocery store that was recently hit by a fire collapsed. Strong winds knocked over this semi-truck in Kansas and derailed this train in Oklahoma. In Colorado, winds reached 107 miles per hour, kicking up tumbleweeds. A massive dust storm swept over Boulder, while also creating a rainbow.
You will recover and you will rebuild.
Yesterday, President Biden spent the day in Kentucky, meeting with victims of last week's tornado outbreak.
Keep the faith. We're going to get this done, I promise you.
The president said the federal government will cover all of the disaster's costs for the first 30 days.
He said that they weren't leaving, that they would be here. And I said, that's good, you need to. Somebody needs to. I mean, this is devastating.
The assistance will be key in helping Bill Patterson, who is still coming to terms with what a tornado did to his home.
I want to cry, but I'm not going to cry. Not yet, anyway. I don't know. It just depends how much the government helps.
At least 85 people died from last week's storms, but there are still dozens unaccounted for. Courtney Keeley, CBS News.
Many residents and business owners say the cleanup and recovery will take months. And now to the latest on the pandemic. Dr. Anthony Fauci says there is no need for a variant-specific booster. He says getting fully immunized with the vaccines available is still the best protection against Omicron. At least 36 states and 76 countries have confirmed cases of the new variant. Still, the vast majority of COVID-19 cases, about 98%, are still the Delta strain. And there's word CDC advisors will meet to consider possibly limiting the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Those advisors will discuss whether benefits of that particular vaccine still outweigh any risks amid new data that appears to show the rate of blood clots associated with the J&J shot have increased since April. $4 million is set aside for after-school programs in Montana as part of a grant program announced back in April. Several organizations were supposed to find out if they've been awarded a grant by next week, but officials say they haven't even received an official application yet. The grant program is run by the Office of Public Instruction. Directors of several after-school programs across the state told the office they intended to apply for the grants. So many, in fact, OPI decided to reevaluate how it would distribute the money. Those running after-school programs say they need to know as soon as possible if their program has secured funding.
We can't wait at this point, and if we don't hear from them soon, we plan on looking at other resources to make these plans still happen.
My budget is due to my board on Monday. So the bottom line is we're all trying to make good on helping with the childcare situation in order to keep all the wheels turning in Montana and in the workforce we've got to all do it together.
It is still unclear how and when the grants will be awarded. While many states and companies offer paid maternity leave programs, it currently isn't mandated at the federal level. That means many employees across the U.S. don't have access to it. Reporter Joe St. George explains why the United States may continue to be one of the only countries in the world without a program, even though efforts to create one recently passed the House of Representatives.
What is he doing? Are you going to give some smiles?
Meet Natalie Welling's latest bundle of joy.
Tell me a story. Yeah.
Young Lennox is only 6 weeks old, an eventful period for any new mom.
So I went back when 2 weeks ago, when he was 4 weeks.
Natalie, however, can't spend every waking moment with her son. Why?
My employer doesn't offer any paid family leave.
The United States continues to be one of the only major countries in the world without nationwide mandated paid leave. All of these countries have it. Natalie says her family couldn't afford to not have her work. For those 4 weeks that she did stay home,
everything was unpaid. I received nothing.
It appeared for a moment this year paid leave may be created by Congress. The House of Representatives included 4 weeks in their version of the Build Back Better bill that passed in November. But every indication is that it will be scrapped before the Senate votes. West Virginia's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin has said it doesn't belong in the bill, believing it should be addressed in a separate bipartisan way. Natalie lives in West Virginia, is Manchin's constituent, and hopes he changes his mind.
It's very sad. I mean, we want parents to work like they don't have children, but parent like they don't have a job.
But Senator Manchin is not supporting paid family leave. And when you come here to West Virginia, you quickly realize why.
I mean, we're a very Republican state. We gave Donald Trump the second highest percentage of the vote.
John Finley runs the Republican Party here. He says the only Democrat left elected to statewide office is Joe Manchin. His group has been pushing Manchin to vote no on as many Democratic ideas as possible, and he thinks it's working.
Our job is to pressure Joe Manchin. I mean, if he votes stop, he might be reelected. If he votes with the Biden agenda, he will lose.
Still, people like Natalie,
see, I want my mama home.
Just hopes the country figures out something soon.
The child suffers.
In Given, West Virginia, I'm Joe St. George.
Thank you so much, Joe. And this next story will make you feel good. Will James Middle School teacher Hunter Jones has been supporting U.S. troops for more than 2 decades. Every year, he and his students make care packages to send them to service members overseas. Yesterday, he arrived at his classroom to find out those efforts were being recognized on a pretty big scale. Montana Senator Steve Daines entered Mr. Jones into the congressional record. Jones said he was humbled and his students were pretty excited too.
Wasn't expecting this at all. I woke up to snow and I didn't think the day was going to get better.
I was kind of proud of him because I feel like it's a big honor to earn an award like that.
Mr. Jones says he'll continue sending care packages as long as our military service members are deployed. And another good happy story for you, a group of hardened kids made a special trip to Billings for a Christmas shopping spree. MTN's Casey Conlon caught up with them to see what they picked out.
Christmas came early for 32 students at the new Hardin Academy. A new school started just this past August. $150 each raised in donations for them to spend on anything they wanted. And of course, it ranged all over the map.
They got cardi on vinyl. It's nice.
It was anything but a typical day. Instead of math and science, the group headed to Rimrock Mall and Walmart.
Why'd you choose this one?
Because it's gray and it goes with my bag.
The idea was to give students a chance to buy something for themselves.
That's A1.
Though, as usual, most focused on presents for family. What'd you find?
I don't want to spoil the gifts for my family, but I got stuff.
As a native, they're more communal, so they're more apt to think of others other than themselves, you know, as much as we'd like them to be selfish today.
Some of these false lilacs from my mom.
That giving spirit is what inspired the Academy. It's one of 5 programs in the state aimed at students who fell behind during the pandemic and often need more than traditional education offers.
All we're doing is meeting the students' basic needs. We're caring for them first. We do the education. We work on their social emotional skills, but we just care for their basic needs.
So it's did you eat last night? Yes. Do you have food? Do you need school supplies? Do you need clothes? Do you need to wash anything? You know, anything and everything they need, we try to give it to them. If they can't get a ride to school, we go and pick them up too.
The shopping spree is just another example that shows this group's compassion.
What about today? Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised, man. It's pretty cool. It's something that never happened, right? They care about us pretty much. That's what it feels like a little more. than the other school. It's pretty cool.
For everybody involved.
That was the #1 mission the very first time we all met. I just want to make sure they're all loved. And that hit home really hard for me because that's kind of what I wanted to do as a teacher, but I thought in a traditional setting I wouldn't be able to. So I was like, maybe teaching's not for me. Until the opportunity came and I was like, oh, heck yeah, well that's what I'm all about.
Thank you.
Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Great story. Thank you so much, Casey. And thank you for watching Billings' only local morning newscast. Coming up, 11 months out of the year, it's just Avenue E. But in December, it transforms into Candy Cane Lane. We'll tell you why you'll want to check it out. The time is now 5:40. We will be right back with Miller's forecast after this.